Oh, hey, buddy.
Oh my God. Dude, we're going, and I get out, and I'm like, for sure my bike is gone. 100% bike is gone. How?
I don't know.
So that's it.
That's
like,
it, we're good.
The goal of the RambleRack is to create the best off-road bike rack on the planet. It's to create something that can withstand the most extreme abuse that you might ever find yourself putting on a bike rack.
That's so we could probably, I think we could change this hole and make it smaller.
All that matters is you don't hit that.
Right. Like walk up to it. Your thing here. Hold it in. Load the bike. Open it up. Pull it down.
And yeah, I remember coming in on Monday, and Eric had come in on the weekend and put kind of all the prevailing ways of holding the tire into FEA. And he lays out these printed sheets of the FEA for each of those. And it's just like red, red, super red. And then there's this new crown jewel of like, oh my gosh, this thing is so stiff. Like, this is so much better. And it was like, dude, you cracked the code. Like, this is it. Like, this is the direction. This is the breakthrough we've been waiting for. And I felt like we went from being right on the verge of just being so deflated to being like all this fresh wind in our sails. Like, dude, let's go. Like, this is it.
So good. There you go. And you just drop that in. That's why the tang is reversed on this one, so you can just hang it.
I'll try this one first in case there's anything weird on it.
You pay too much money for your bike. Oh, hey, buddy.
Well, the problem is rattly, insecure bike racks. There's the issue of the most secure way to hold a bike, and there's the issue of causing damage to your bike. And as we found out, as we did all of our testing and our research, we found out that sometimes those two things fight each other.
We're getting pretty close to finishing it. It's simple. The concept is we pull straight through the center of the wheel and wedge the tire equally between 2 points in this tray. There's no way it can touch your fork, and it can't move side to side because it's pinned after you clamp the bike down. So it's pinned vertical, pulls straight through the axle.
And there's lots of ways to do it. This is probably the most common way people carry their bikes. They attach it to the wheel, right? With varying success.
This hook, this whole hook assembly is extremely rigid. It's all metal contact points inside the latch assembly. And this hook is deep enough so even if you were to get a flat, if you were to pinch flat your tire off a jump or something, you can't hop out of the tray, you can't slip out of the hook. That's the idea.
So the hardest challenge was making the whole clamp system work. So I was tasked with creating a clamping system that worked on a square tube, and that was totally different than anything out there, without just going full crazy on plastic or machined or using existing systems. So that was the hardest part, creating a two-piece sheet metal clamp that used a brake lever style handle with aluminum teeth on the rack. Just putting that all together and the way that whole system worked.
Super, super rigid. That keys into a solid steel core that actually goes through both sides of this tube, so you can torque this pivot bolt really hard, and you're not gonna crimp this tube. So it's extremely rigid. We've got drain holes inside of this front tray, so it won't collect water or snow. If you come back here, you'll notice that basically this lower base tube, we call it, can be slid either way. So you can center the bike on the back of your vehicle. So if you got like a really long wheelbase, you could cheat it to the right a little bit or left, depending on what you're doing. Eventually down the line, we'll probably come up with different mounts for this. You could probably mount it on your roof. You could probably mount it on the back of a van build. It doesn't have to be on the Stinger, but this is what we call the Stinger weldment. This is what actually goes into the secondary and the Ultra Swing, or if you want, you can run it, on your bumper or in your stock hitch.
I've had failures and bike damage with every single one of the racks that exist on the market. It's one of those things where like universal fit is not the best fit. So it really comes down to like nothing really works for what I do, and it never really has.
And then this back tray, it's simple, but it's pretty cool because it's got a keeper right here. So we run a voy strap that you can buy just from like an outdoor store. It actually runs through these slots, and this keeper holds it. So when you undo it, it's not going to fall on the ground. So what you do is we'll provide this strap you can actually go around twice with for extreme conditions. So it's got like a really high brake strength, and it's replaceable. It's a wear item. So, and then eventually we'll have a larger tray if you're running a fat bike. And this has basically 3 different positions. So right now it's in the middle position. That would be pretty much most mountain bikes would be here. Some really long stuff would be out here. And then like a shorter or like a BMX or kids bike would be over here. So yeah, that's the idea, is just to make a really bomb-proof rack. This one's probably more bomb-proof than it needs to be.
We are not trying to appease everyone with this rack, and we have to be pretty unapologetic about it. We made this first version of the RambleRack for our existing customer who bought our swing away spare tire carrier. That's the first iteration, and that's very specific for them. That being said, I mean, I think what we've created here is something that's going to have a really wide range of application for anything that needs to carry a bike more secure. But yeah, I mean, we built a steel, US-made, burly as all get out bike rack. And at the end of the day, it's still kind of within the price points of what other racks exist. So, Pink Bike comments are gonna hate no matter what, but like, this is what we did. So come at us.
And then there is a section that we'll probably push up after.
You don't have to go to the top.
Want to swap to the full test bike?
I'm not worried about it.